rivercraft? Yeah.
What?
You're the one that tried to send me the Spanish tutor.
What are you talking about, dude?
Okay.
I did send you a freaking tutor, yeah.
I know. I didn't have time. I appreciate the heck out of it, though. I
Hey,
thanked
man.
you. I thanked everybody. Your witness, I thanked
Of course.
Hey, you're live.
Hey, we're live.
Could have been a worse start,
All right. Oh, we got people already telling us where they're tuning in from. Welcome, guys.
Chahelis.
Welcome.
Chahelis.
You guys kind of know the drill, or maybe you don't know the drill. First time watching, be sure to let us know where you're tuning in from. We got some prize pack giveaways. We got some cool stuff we're talking about tonight. Before we get into it, I want to thank Stevens Marine. They're our live feed sponsor. We'll be seeing those boys in a couple days. Gotta get some work done on the sled. Just getting ready for the old booty 10 season.
Gotta get
some
the prop put back on.
Gotta get the prop put back on. Make sure everything's tip top.
Nice.
We are getting at it really, really close for that. I am
We got a little taste
not
for
getting excited fishing 100 days in a row. What's that?
Scary close.
Right. We got a little taste of it a couple weeks ago with our man Jared Higginbotham.
Oh yes, yeah.
And
Dude. Sampling what's coming into the
yeah,
river, so
That
killed
looks like a
18
good time.
salmon in an hour and a half,
Yeah.
along with
Nice.
everybody else around us.
That
That was
was
cool. I was
so
not
honored.
expecting it.
Hot
And the
bite.
coho were about as big as I've ever seen them out there. So
Good.
We did end up with 2 really nice Chinook. That's actually an episode. I think it was last Tuesday, guys.
I think it came out, yeah.
Check that out if you're getting excited for that. So
Yes, sir.
you're not
That's gonna be exciting. Huh?
I bet you're excited for the cooler weather down there.
Yeah. The heat's been annoying.
You're just the hard one to get excited.
but
It's out of on an airplane. This involves an airplane. Cameron is the hard
yeah,
time.
no, it's gonna be good. I think you guys out there just banging away on them is gonna be a real good thing. But I'll be out there joining the guys out in the salt here just in a little bit and just getting everything kind of slowly ready. But huge shout out to Stevens Marine again. So I'll be seeing you guys tomorrow. Let's go. Hey fellas, good to see you. Also, long time no see, Jordan. I know Jordan's been slacking. Oh no, he hasn't been slacking. He's been gone.
Yeah, it's been a wild couple of months. Had to move. Been on the road a lot, and that just continues. We're leaving from here tonight and driving a 6-hour drive to go film for 4 days with some of our amazing sponsors and a couple of our close friends. So
Nice.
again, be on the lookout for those. A little split, stay fishy and addicted, but gonna get to hang out with my man Herzog.
Heck
I'm
yeah.
very excited
That'd
for
be
that.
cool.
And we're going fishing with Scott Call from Brad's in a very, very special place on Friday. So again, some really cool different changes of
So
scenery.
life's
for you
rough
guys.
right now.
That's
It's a
rough.
bummer. I feel bad.
Already got it.
Listen in, guys.
I'm like,
I
yo,
feel
I
so
almost
bad.
got 10,000 miles in the truck already.
Oh gosh, I thought I had a lot.
Yeah, I'll roll over
Dude,
10K on this next
Oh
trip.
my goodness.
About time to go in for a service.
Yeah.
It is
I should have already gone
time
into
for
a couple
service,
services.
Oh, yeah.
Good stuff. Hanging during Hurricane Barrel. Lots
Whoa.
of heat. Oof.
I thought
Well, I hope you're
hurricane
all right.
season was over.
Yep, I was right. 6:36. I don't know about that.
Nailed it.
I don't know about that.
No, it was.
Okay,
On the
what's it
dot.
got? Oh, it's got it. What's up? Turning in from Lake Chelan. Yeah, I saw some other guys commenting, getting some sockeye done. Marlon actually was just he's on the way back from doing some filming over there in the old hot east side Chinook and sockeye season. I mean, man, crazy to think we got a record sockeye run again. Isn't that just
Odd.
wild that the forecast wasn't there?
Weird. Just weird.
Yeah, we talked about that last week. We don't need to go into it again.
What's the forecast?
Yeah, what's a forecast? It's a you just shake this crystal ball,
Yeah.
roll some dice, and be like,
That's the
Check.
number we think
Yep.
we're getting.
sounds good. What's up, Ammo Guys? Like, sup, nerds?
What's up, nerds? Later, nerds.
Hot as hell out there, boys. Yeah, it's been warm, but that's what's been nice about starting at 4:30 every day. It's like 10 o'clock. You're like, man, we've been out here like 5.5 hours. Got a bunch of fish in the box. Steelheading's been freaking fantastic this year. Big summers. It's been absolutely awesome. But
Big belly floppers, too.
right, dude,
It's like the water
That's
honestly,
been
every
a
day,
lot of
we
fun.
started our day today losing the first 4 fish we hooked.
I mean,
Because they're
because
just
are-
freaking boom, boom, boom. They're just freaking big and pissed, and
1,000
we
miles
rallied
an hour.
and killed a bunch afterwards. But it was a little rough start.
Yeah, our one of our new camera guys, I took him down. He'd never been summer steelhead fishing before, and I hooked one right in front of him, got a really great shot. And he's like, "That was nuts." I was like, pointed over here, and it jumped, and then all of a sudden it was all the way over there and jumped. And I'm like, yeah, man, that's it. That's why we come out here.
Dude,
That's what it's all about.
They're on another level this year.
They're just big too. The average size, like the ocean is obviously healthy. I mean, sockeye forecast was bonkers. Let's be honest, winter steelhead fishing was better than I've seen in freaking 10 years, like no question.
Yep.
Good sockeye run. Springers came in a little better than forecasted, but I mean, when half of them are getting killed by the ever-growing seal population, they're going to have a hard time guessing what's going to go over Bonneville Dam when they're all getting eaten down there.
Yeah.
But now we're looking at summer steelhead, the numbers being great, sockeye being record-setting, and the ocean fishing starting off just absolutely incredible. Like, I'm being optimistic.
It's a good
but
time
it's
to be
looking
fishing.
really good. Oh,
It's
the
a
bass
great-
bite's been phenomenal, boys.
Still
They don't
haven't
care.
been.
Got it. Okay. They don't give a rip.
You gotta hit
Cool.
the cricket. You gotta hit the cricket.
How do we? Yeah, Clint missed it. Clint missed it. No, the
He
cricket
said
sound
bass
effect.
fishing's been on him.
And like the bass
we
fishing's been
both looked at him
awesome.
like this.
And they just went,
What's a bass?
"What's a bass?" Oh man.
Still haven't caught one.
Oh, I know. And you know what? With attitude like that, he's not gonna either.
No, just, yeah. Missed their chance.
Right on, guys. Well, let's do this real fast. One more time. Let us know where you're tuning in from. We've got a cool prize pack from do we want to announce it? Like,
Well, he's going to be in here in
he's
just
going
a
to be here in
second.
just a minute, so
Yes.
go for it.
But we have a giveaway from Next Adventure, one of our proud new sponsors, who's actually in the building today to talk about the newfound friendship and the newfound sponsorship and some kayak fishing, which you guys saw in the thumbnail here. So,
Yes, sir.
first giveaway is a little Nalgene and a
Nice hat.
A nice hat.
Heck yeah.
I must say so myself.
All right. Well, you guys know that any of you guys commenting out there is automatically entering you in for the randomizer to potentially pick your comment, and we'll send you guys out that prize pack. Before we do that real fast, guys, I want to do a little knife update because we're getting still literally attacked. They're sold out. They're completely sold out. There is none left. End of discussion. But for those of you guys that did purchase a knife and purchased anything from our last drop, we do appreciate you guys. We thank you guys. The boys I know were like, they went freak mode and tried to get all that stuff out to you guys, and just I think they did a great job.
Yep.
Good job, Colt Hayden, boys down the shop, Robbie, Mike, everybody.
Should have seen the pyramid of stuff. And
Oh, dude, I got a text. It's like,
he's like, why'd they give me the little truck?
I'm like, oh, sucks to be you guys. Anyways, yeah. So huge shout out to them. Hopefully you guys are appreciative. The UPF shirts, got a couple of them sporting. Dialed.
Fun announcement too.
Dialed.
Out of Walmart.
No, not yet.
Okay.
Don't do that
All
one.
right.
Don't do that one. And
Okay.
yeah, so awesome. There is still a few things on there, guys, for the summer drop. You can get some of the UPF shirts. We're getting into that fall buoy 10 season. We're all going to be out there staring at each other, trying to stay cool. Hopefully, catching a bunch of big fat salmon. But one thing I do want to announce to you guys: if you did purchase one of the Addicted Advantage fillet knives, first off, thank you guys very, very much. We do appreciate you guys. I tell you what, the one thing we did find out after the fact was that we didn't talk about it with Tor Manufacturing, which is our manufacturer down in California, veteran owned, all that good stuff, and we didn't even mention anything about lifetime sharpening. And we do have it confirmed that we now are going to offer you guys lifetime sharpening. It's no cost to you. It was just something that we kind of missed. And I'm going to be honest with you guys. Generally, with my knife, I do sharpen it. Like, with this knife, I don't have to sharpen it near as much as anything else I've ever used.
Right.
But I tell you, like every few weeks, running salmon every day, running steelhead every day, I'm definitely like touching up. I don't want to send my knife out for a couple weeks. However, if you guys, if we're in the off season, you're not going to use fillet knife, we are going to have lifetime sharpening. You're going to ship that and handle that directly with Tor. You're going to ship it to them. It's going to be about a 2-week turnaround, and they're going to get it back to you. So
That's nice.
I appreciate you guys' comments. You guys have been sending me pictures of fillets and all that stuff. Really grateful for it. But yeah, anyways, cool announcement there. Last but not least, one more thing I wanted to touch on is that, again, and it says it in the card in the knife, do not leave these knives wet because of the higher iron content and the harder metal. The reason why the metal is harder so that edge doesn't roll over when you do like 2 salmon is it has a higher iron content, which means that it will rust. Any stainless steel will rust if it's just in complete contact with wire, unless it's like chromized or anything like that. So do not dry them off. This is just like a gun. Like if you're rifle hunting, like you're walking around the woods and it's pouring rain.
Yeah.
You got to even your nice stainless steel guns. You got to go and you got to clean them
Wipe
off,
them down,
make sure
clean
they're
'em up.
dry, and all that good stuff. So,
And if you make
Yeah.
a mistake, I will say, just from being the guy that lets stuff get rusty,
dude,
if you do make a mistake of it happening, don't think it's ruined. Don't
It's-
throw it away. Don't try to send it back. Lay it down with some steel wool. Make sure that make it on a flat surface, and you can get all that rust off.
Yep.
Make it look just like new again. So a little bit of steel wool, just a little Brillo pad. Get that thing wiped off and get it sharpened again. You're good to go.
I might have said iron.
So-
You're right, carbon. Sorry, my bad. Sorry,
Yeah.
sorry, Richard. You got me on that one. But yeah, the other thing is too, I've done it as well. Like when I went to Erie, I was springer fishing, and I think I had the sheath sitting in the boat just outside, and then filleted some fish, stuck it in there, took off for 2 weeks. Came back and went, oh no! And I just took a scouring pad, just the
Yeah.
kitchen, brought it right. I mean, just back. Fortunately, the metal's really high quality, so it's not gonna like pit into the metal
Right, it's
and
just
like
surface.
corrode it. It's just like basically a surface aesthetics. It was super easy, and then again, like the knife is still freaking sharp.
Every best knife that I've ever had, you had to take care of it just like this one. So
Dude,
it's-
you take
it's-
care of your guns, you take care of your freaking knives. Like
Yep.
it's part of the deal. But
It's American.
it is. I mean, also too, like it's also not something that I go crazy with. I like fillet some fish, take my shirt, dry it off, let it just kind of sit out for like a minute.
It
Put
has
it
a
away. It's
job.
fine. Yeah, it has a job.
Oh,
So
that's what that's
awesome. Yeah, so appreciate it, Richard. Says best knife ever used. Yeah. So, anyways, but they are sold out now. Real fast, we are going to have a fall drop, and we are working feverishly to see if we will have some more for sure by the holidays. We are going to have another round of knives coming in the fall. We'll just say before Christmas. There we go, because we've learned these.
There you
We've
go.
learned these lessons. What?
Why would you do that?
Because I feel confident in, and that's like 6 months, bro. So like,
Every time we've done that.
hey, shut up.
All right. I
We
believe
will
you.
have
I believe you.
another
We're
batch
done.
of knives before Christmas. We will have another batch of knives. Shut up, Clint. But we are going to try. I don't want to say what I'm going to say, but I'll just say before Christmas next month, we are, you know what, your guys' response, you guys have got the knives, you're filleting fish with them. It's really awesome.
And start shooting those
we
pictures,
do,
everyone.
We realize we do need to get more of those knives out to you. So they're coming. That's all you need to know. Thank you. More knives in the fall. Yes, Sean, that's what we're just talking about. Okay. Yes, and Brandon, Eddie, they are officially sold out every
Sold
last one of
out.
them. And we do
Gonzo.
appreciate you guys for doing that. So cool. With that said,
Randomizer.
let's get her going, and then we're gonna bring in our guests. And I'm actually gonna dip out on this one because I don't know. I've been in a kayak one time with you.
I took his kayak.
It's fun. You took my kayak.
The only
Hey, I
time,
might get into basket kayak tournaments one day.
Yeah, exactly.
the only time I've kayaked is for plunking.
Oh yeah,
Literally.
running lines. See, there
Yep.
you go. I mean, shoot. Yeah,
Hey, man.
you gotta have it. Gotta do it. So.
Got to do it.
Yeah. All right, guys. I'm gonna dip out of here. Clint, why don't you pick a winner on the old randomizer?
All right. Here we go.
Get it going.
Jeff Johnson, congratulations! You got yourself a hydration vessel and a new hat from Next Adventure.
There you go.
Message
That's
orders at addicted.fishing. Let them know exactly what you won, and Mike will get this out to you speedily.
dialed. Nice.
All right.
What have you been
Yeah.
doing, Jordan?
What's that?
What have you been doing?
What have I been doing?
With Jordan right now.
Boy, so
What
what?
haven't you been doing?
What
Yeah.
haven't I been doing?
What haven't you been
Sleeping
doing?
a lot. Yeah, what haven't I been doing?
Very little sleep.
We've been working on a lot of cool stuff.
Just
you
go-
guys,
just
you got the
walk
mic
in.
in there? You good? All right,
All
drum
right,
roll,
I'm just
everybody. We're not going to talk
walking
about
in,
me. Drum
The
roll.
grand
The man himself.
Hello,
Please
everyone.
Introduce yourself.
I'm Brian from Next Adventure, and we're
Proud new sponsor.
proud new sponsor. We're
Couldn't be more
super stoked
excited.
to be here. Super stoked to be a part of sponsoring these guys, and been wanting to do it for a while.
And it's officially Stay Fishy Adventures' very first sponsor.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
I'm tickled pink with that. It's been a long, hard road. Doing everything we've done with that channel, and I couldn't thank you more. And it's such a fitting company. Also, it's local here in the Pacific Northwest. It's a Portland-based company. And tell us a little bit about your history, kind of like what we talked in the podcast. How did you guys start? When did you start? And where's it taking you now?
Well, we started in '97 and in a 1,500 square foot space, and we slowly moved into a bigger one. And the next thing we did down the road was moved into our paddle sports center and opened that up and really kind of got into the boating side of things and started out with whitewater and wreck boats, and now we've really got into the fishing kayaks and rafting and stuff. And so that's been a really lot of fun. We've been, God, what is this, 26 years now, since 97 and stuff. And Deke and I are been friends since we were like 8 and 6. His mom, my mom went to high school together. That's literally
cool.
we met at their 10-year reunion, and we kind of been friends ever since. And we always just kind of wanted to start a business together and do something in the stuff that we love, because we fish, we camp, we motorcycle, we do all that kind of stuff. And, you know, what a good excuse to start a business, right?
Do it all in the outdoors.
Yeah, we got to do it all. And by the way, we can just take stuff out of the store and go do it. So, you know, this sort of thing. Don't tell anybody.
Oh, I know the feeling. I'm just kidding.
But it's been a lot of fun, and we're just trying to kind of build everything back up again after the whole COVID and all that fun stuff. But it's going really well.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, no, and I was telling them earlier, you know, I've been shopping at your guys' establishment. That's crazy to say this, but 20 years, you know, 15 to 20 years now I've been going in there. You know, it was kind of close to where I grew up, and just the shopping experience there is one thing I stressed a lot on the podcast that we just did. I think that's my favorite part about your guys' company and about your store locations is the shopping experience. You know, as he'll kind of dive into a little bit more, you guys, they have the bargain basement, which has been the most famous. I think really what really blew the cup. But
well, that's honestly how we
up.
started. We were not new when we started. We literally went out garage sailing. Like I would go out Friday, Saturday, Sunday, fill vans several times, and Deke would go out and do the same thing, and we'd just run all over, and then we'd come in and just unload it in the back of the store. And honestly, I was the only person there. I was like running the store. Deke was working somewhere else, and I would just have piles. Customers would come in the next day and they'd go, "Hey, what did you get?" They figured out that on Mondays was the good day to come by.
Yeah.
And I just go, "Well, go look back in the back." "Well, there's no price tags on it." "Well, bring it up, make me an offer." You know, and usually they'd offer me, you know, I was happy with most of the time when they offered.
Exactly.
And but that's kind of how we started. And then like it was probably, I don't know, 3-4 months in, and we finally got our first inline, what we call inline, which is new product.
Right.
And slowly got up from there, and but always maintain our roots. You got to have the used gear, closeouts. A lot of people don't realize, but you know, we spend a lot of time searching and finding stuff from last year that we can buy at a much reduced cost, that we can pass that savings on to our customers and stuff, because our stated goal is to get as many people in the outdoors as we possibly can, because if there ain't nobody out there, nobody cares.
And it's expensive.
Across the board.
Yeah, across the board.
Yeah, and it's expensive, so it's nice to have a spot where you can go and get deals at.
Yeah,
Well,
that's always been our goal.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of it too when you go into the shopping stores, because where this kind of solidified. You know, you mentioned that your son is an avid fisherman and he liked to watch the show. And that and I needed some work done on my raft. You guys might have seen the video where I threw my raft off of a bridge and it landed upside down. It kind of messed some stuff up. I was like, the only place in town to go and get that kind of stuff worked on was these guys. And I've obviously been a client of yours for years. And I showed up, and the guy that was working at the Paddle Sports Center immediately recognized the truck and the dog and everything from the show and the raft, and we started BSing about opportunities and the possibility for growth. And then I was able to meet you and with that personability of going into a dealer, I guess you could say, and having somebody there who, one, is knowledgeable, and two, isn't just there to sell you stuff. I mean, that is the overall goal of the business, obviously, but these are guys that can walk you through any sort of consignment, any sort of brand new gear, take you over to the other store location, show you this, show you that, and give you the best option that you have for getting the product that you need.
Yeah, enthusiasts.
And that's so rare. What are you going to do at Dick's Sporting Goods and talk to somebody who's never been camping?
Right.
About what kind of tent you should take your kids out camping for the first time in. And that is the beauty of a family-owned business like this, too. And there's so far and few between now. But there's one. Yeah. There's one in Portland.
One in Portland now.
That offers that sort of personability. And again, the knowledge, first thing I started talking to the guy that helped me out at the raft store about was fishing. He was talking about how he wished he wasn't at work because he wanted to go steelhead fishing, and that's cool. You don't see that a lot in any retail atmosphere. But then across the board, again, you guys, from I think the beauty of this partnership and being able to represent these guys is the availability of the products that you guys have there, from consignment snowboard pants to a tent. That normally would be $300-400 more expensive. That's down there. You go upstairs, you have all the state-of-the-art, best camping gear, all the cool gizmos and gadgets, all the the fun, off-grid type of stuff, and all the options for the best camping gear. And then you go over to the Paddle Sports Center, and you have every single kayak that's pretty much available to you
for the most part,
in the time at hand.
Right.
And again, being able to talk to professionals that know exactly how to use it and have used it and what would suit you best, especially like me being a big guy. I grew up whitewater kayaking. I went in there and they told me what boat I needed, and that created a realm of safety for me and put me in a good position to go out and pursue my goals of being a good kayaker.
Right.
So,
and our goal is always to, we hire people that know the business. They come in, you want to buy something, we can outfit it from stem to stern. You don't have to worry about doing it at home. We'll have it completely outfitted for you. Just come and pick it up when you're done.
Yeah. Talk a little bit about your demo.
Really quick before you do that, his beard's rubbing on his mic. You might need to
Put
The old beard
right
of the
here
mic.
yep.
down lower.
I can do it. Perfect. How about
Perfect.
that work?
Try to aim it up.
All these things. How's that? How's that?
Perfect.
Does that work?
Perfect.
There you go.
All right.
All right.
I'll kind of talk like this. Does that work? Okay.
I got a twitch.
You got a twitch. Hey, what's going on?
This is my stroke on.
Yeah. No. Well, we got the. So yeah, if you want to talk about the.
Talk a little bit about the demo bay and stuff. That's huge, especially with the subject that we're on tonight with kayak fishing. You guys have a really cool location out downriver a little bit from where your guys' Portland location is, and talk a little bit about the options there.
Yeah. So 𝗛𝗘𝗟𝗣. We call it 𝗛𝗑𝗟𝗣, but it's actually in Warren.
Okay.
And it's at the loading ramp in there. And we actually, weirdly enough, ended up with a plane hangar that we pulled up next to it so we could store all our boats in there. And then we actually have a launching space off to the right of that. And it's like 360 acres where you can't have power boats in. So it's, all just man paddling or whatever you want to call it.
Right.
And stuff. And so it's really great for that. And basically the beauty of it is if you see a boat at our paddle sports center in town and you really want to kind of test drive it, you can go out there, we can call, we can set you up, you can go out and test drive 2 or 3 boats, figure out which one you like. Because, like you said, nobody wants to, who buys a car and doesn't test drive it, right?
Yeah.
And so having that ability to test drive it and maybe choose to, to your point, you're talking about, is the boat too tippy for you? Is it the right boat for you? And
if you want to have your dog on it, you can see if it's going to work with the dog on it.
Make sure you try it out and make sure it's going to work for you because, we obviously don't want to sell you something that you're just going to come hating later. One of our biggest goals is always to do that because, you know what you're going to do. If it ain't right and you get it home and you're like, what are you going to do? You're going to badmouth me. You're going to go, damn, Brian.
Exactly.
What was he thinking?
Well, and that's huge.
Now I gotta
know.
go back in there.
Yeah.
Now you go back in there. So we try to do it right the first time.
Yeah.
Well, in a touchy situation already, especially if you're not an avid boater in any means. Before I ever got in a fishing kayak, I've been running class 5 waterfalls with a whitewater kayak. So I can be more comfortable on a lot lesser of a boat, which isn't the case for a lot of people. You know what I mean? A lot of people are just getting into it. It might be their first boat. And being able to sit on it and then have somebody next to you who is a professional sit on it with you, other than you just watching a YouTube video, that's worth its weight in gold.
Yeah.
And you don't get that anywhere. And, a lot of the people that are going to order an Old Town or a new canoe or a Hobie or whatever, they're going to sit on it on a showroom floor and then have it all wrapped up, completely put together, and thrown in the back of their truck with a forklift, and they're going to say, see you later. At any retail in town, And so it's a very
so
unique.
we're clear, I'd never use a forklift. He may say that, but,
Yeah, whatever. I'm just talking. Word vomit. But that in itself, you guys, is a huge thing, especially if you're into this market. And whether you're, again, if you want to try out a whitewater kayak, if you want to try a paddleboard, everything can be kind of accustomed to where you want to spend your money, how you want to spend your money, and again, having the feedback of people that actually know what the heck they're talking about.
Yeah.
But if you have a budget, it's also how you can, our guys can work with you to figure out how to best outfit you within your budget.
Right.
Because not everybody just has a lot of cash laying around, but we want people out there.
Customizable.
So a little thing Clint just threw up on the screen. We also, already these guys are coming at you with an amazing deal, and there'll be a lot of these coming out, so be paying attention on all the Stay Fishies coming up and all the addicted videos, especially if you see us doing some sort of paddle sports or anything in a boat, honestly, because there'll be deals being presented to you guys. There'll be sweet little offers like this where you can get a $90 sleeping bag for $30 online. This is a 20-degree bag, you said?
Yep,
20-degree bag. What was the brand again?
It's a petroglyph.
Petroglyph. Awesome opportunity, especially getting into the hot season here. Everybody's wanting to go camping. Everybody's wanting to get out. This goes online as well, or is this in store?
This will be online, so you'll
Okay.
be able to access it online and in store. And one thing to add to that, it comes with basically a lifetime warranty.
Perfect.
So if it, the seams blow out or the zipper dies or whatever, just bring it back. We're pretty lax with our return because we want people to be happy with our product.
Well, I know where this one's going.
Nice.
We'll see if I can ruin it in a week. Just kidding. But once again, guys, be on the lookout for these offers. This one is the one that's standing right now. It'll probably go for the next week or two. But get online if you need a sleeping bag, check it out. And also, tell us a little bit about your online store. It's not quite as broad as coming in. I always, like I said a few minutes ago, and I don't think I said it on the live feed, but the shopping experience, it's like going into Bob's or Sportco or something for the first time. But it's something for the whole family as well. You know, like you go in there, you go down to the bargain cave, you could spend 2 hours in the bargain cave. Mm-hmm. You go upstairs and start making a wish list about all the stuff you want. That could take you another hour. You drive 2 blocks down and go to the paddle sports center and really start dreaming. And you could kind of put together your entire wish list in one day and give yourself that idea of a budget to be able to afford this kind of stuff. And then even kind of get your name and number in there on the line for when things come in.
Right.
I'm sure that's a big part of it too.
I mean, we try to make the website, a kind of similar experience to the store. Mm-hmm. Obviously, we can't. It's obviously different. We can't get everything on there. That's why we always tell people, we're constantly getting deals. So, I might get something tomorrow that ships in, and we add it to the stores. And so that's why we always tell people to come in and check the stores out as well as the online. Yeah. We try to announce it, let people know, but we're constantly hunting for closeouts. I mean, it's literally every day we're looking and digging in different places we can get it from, trying to find those closeouts and those deals that then we can pass on to everybody.
And that's huge. You can overspend so much in the outdoor, in the camping world, especially.
Right.
Yeah. What you get, the bang you get for your buck without any pre-hand information on the product is horrible at times. Just in my experience buying tents. Cots, sleeping bags, anything that goes along, sleeping pads, for instance. You can order a sleeping pad online. It comes with a little blow up one that's this thin. I might as well even sleep on some cardboard. Yeah, you know what I mean. And so to be able to have that opportunity to buy products that you normally don't find everywhere. One in particular, that blue roll cot you guys always see me camping on. Right. You can roll that. You can't buy that anywhere. You know what I mean? Like you can come into the store, you can talk to them about what you want. If they don't even have it there on the shelf, they'll have it for you in a couple of days. Okay. They have outlets to all these different retailers, all these makes and models, and there's a lot of cool, knick-knacky type of stuff that makes your life a lot better outdoors that I survive on. And it's all there. It's a very unique.
Sometimes we get some really weird, interesting things that we just make and try. I just recently bought a little solo stove that's like this big. It's based on the solo. You can put pellets on to put on top of your picnic table or something. Mm-hmm. Really kind of odd, but it's kind of cool too. And it's like things like that. We experiment.
They got the little USB cords to charge your phone and everything on them.
We just try different things. And if we get a good enough deal on it, like those for instance normally sell for almost $100. We're selling them for $17.95. Oh, yeah. Like that gives you an indication of kind of buying we're doing. Yeah.
So amazing shopping experience, guys. If you live in the Portland metropolitan area or anywhere within a couple hours, I would highly recommend checking out their hours, getting online and finding a day to go down there, especially. And like I said, probably next week even we'll be heading in there to do a little shopping around, kind of tease out what the store actually looks like, get some new camping gear for some of these road trips coming up, and show you guys exactly what this place has to offer. So
got to get outfitted.
Yeah.
It's a good spot for it.
Have you ever been in there?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Lots of times. Lots of times. Got to get glue for those repairs.
Exactly. That's another thing. Talk a little bit about the repair shop for Kayaks Inc. and
we've just recently because one of the stores is gone that does the repair work, so now we're repairing rafts and adding components. Not just repairing, but like the guys the other day. Somebody wanted a bunch of D-rings put on. Yeah. So they came in and our guys installed them all properly and very well. And then we also clean the raft. So, make sure it's all nice and pretty when you get it back and stuff. But and we try to keep the prices. I know Trenton there is our LLM, which is location manager, and he tries to keep it at a very fair and reasonable cost. Yeah. Nice. And stuff because, obviously.
And you guys do the kayak welding and stuff as well?
Yep.
Is that a thing? Okay.
Yeah.
So any guys along those lines, if you have any repair needs, and I've been told by raft repairmen plenty of times, they can pretty much rebuild anything. So if you have a flotation device, if you have little pack craft or a little inflatable tube that you like to go out and fish on that has a hole in it, these guys can pretty much fix anything. Usually it's just an hourly wage cost to get that stuff done and for the materials that you need to get the job done. But same with the kayaks too. If you have a kayak that got accidentally dragged behind the truck and it's got a hole in it or whatever, they can weld them up. There's a lot of cool work that can be done at this guys' location. And alongside even the paddle sports location, they have a rack store right connected to it. So if you need
rack attacks right there,
pretty much everything. It's a one-stop shop.
You literally from top to bottom.
And I am extremely excited. So once again, thank you so much, my friend.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun future coming up here. Once again, you guys, the sleeping bag, get on there, use the code STAYFISHY, and you can get a $90 sleeping bag for $30. Just
both online and then come into the store.
Yep, but I would recommend the store. If you're anywhere nearby, find your time to get down there and go have some fun shopping. So, thank you so much for swinging by, my friend. We really appreciate you.
Yeah,
and we can't wait for the future.
Yeah, I'm super excited about this.
Thanks for the sleeping bag.
Yeah, you bet.
So let's get one more giveaway going here, Clint. We got this beautiful Nalgene bottle in a nice color.
And what?
And a dry bag?
Well, I was thinking the Nalgene could go by itself, but I got the dry bag for the last one, and then I got one more Nalgene in the hat.
Nice. All right.
Yep, I got some stuff.
Sweet.
All right, guys, we'll start firing off some of these kayak questions. You know, there's going to be a lot of stuff coming in. What makes models and stuff could be good. You guys have seen a lot of our videos where we're out using these kayaks to trout fish, whether we're fly fishing, whether we're trolling for trout, or whether we're salmon fishing in the main river. There's a lot of different things that we can be talking about here today. So I want to see some of your guys' questions as they come in. And being so that you ask a question, you might get chosen in a random gift.
Could win some of these giveaways.
Quite the situation.
It is.
Isn't that? You get to learn something and you get a free thing.
You could.
That's an
very
opportunity
well
you
get
don't
a
usually
free
get in
thing.
life. You
Free
gotta pay,
things?
You usually got to pay for that kind of action, Cotton. you got to pay double for that kind of action.
We'll see how that works out for him.
Bold move, Cotton. We'll see how it works. Easy loading.
Kayak fishing.
Okay,
man.
so you guys, the kayak that I've been running for years here, that we were proudly sponsored by up to a point, is Old Town, and I have the 12.6 Old Town autopilot. I really, really have fallen in love with having that autopilot, that Minn Kota on the bow. You know, the foot assist, the foot paddle assist, I think is a great model to be able to use, but it's just gonna, you know, especially in the tidal influence fisheries, it's going to be really hard on you to be using and to be effective. We want to make the most of our time when we're out there fishing. So I think that's the biggest thing, is finding that kayak that fits within your budget, but also something that's practical for where you're fishing. If you know you're going to be fishing areas that are all dead water, you could probably get away with the foot pedal. We've seen a lot of fish caught. You and I both, you know. You've grown up fishing one of the areas that we probably see the most kayak fishing. And they get away with the paddle assist all the time. All the time. And they do pretty dang well. But also, you know, you get out into the Columbia, into the Willamette, where you have these tides going in and out all day long. And if you're not hitting it at the right tide, you're going to burn through your battery quick. And you're not going to be safe. I mean, let's be real. I've never felt safe in that Columbia, even going 118 miles down it in a kayak. It never felt safe for a second. I'm not going to lie to you. I never for a second felt safe in that damn thing, even though it was very durable, it was very sturdy. But, you know, definitely fit within your budget of where you think you're going to be using your kayak, and being able to go in and next adventure, tell them exactly where you're fishing, because they know guys that fish every little body of water from here to Seattle and probably south down to the California border. So being able to go in there and ask them, get dialed in for the exact fisher that you want, because most of the guys in that paddle sports center are fishermen. So really choosing your kayak is probably the biggest highlight, I would say, in the importance of getting the right equipment to go do this. So the kayak starts first, but let's start seeing some comments here. I see Clint has quite a few started. Why don't you just start throwing them up, Clint? And I'll just
like 10 great questions.
yeah, I'll just start. We'll just start answering.
Boom.
If you roll it, can you get back on? Let's start with that one.
What is it? Okay, we'll start at the top and roll back down.
Did you talk about that while it's on the phone? Yeah, talk about. You want a mic? Yeah, I'll get the mic back on.
Perfect. So we'll go back to that top started one there, Clint, please.
It's right here.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Ooh.
If you roll it, can you get back on? What do you do if you have to swim the shore? Well, wearing a PFD, you know, you guys see us on Addicted. I will reluctantly say we probably stress PFDs a little bit less than we probably should. Wearing a PFD on the water, especially if you're not somebody who's comfortable with the water, is adamant. Whether it's one of the inflatable ones, I kind of, my good friend Phil Black, who's in a lot of the videos, you'll see in almost every video he's in, because he's been on the river for 50 years almost. He has his he has his life jacket on no matter what, all the time. Even anytime he's in the water fishing, anytime he's in a big boat, he has a Type 5, Class 5 light PFD on, and that's what he wears for the safety matter. So first part of answering that question is make sure you have your PFD on. And what if the kayak rolls over? I have reluctantly, with the Old Town that I've been running, I very, very, very seldom feel unsafe in it rolling over,
right?
And a lot of it is because you're not being your senses are heightened a lot when you're in that little boat, especially in a big river situation, and when you do have barges going by, and we have different stuff like that. But one thing I would say when it does roll over is have a plan. Know what you're gonna do. Exactly, just like when you run a big rapid and you're freaked out and you're worried, you have to look at the worst possibilities and then figure out how to solve them before they happen. I think that's the biggest thing and the biggest factor in a situation like that boat rolling. I have personally never rolled my kayak, but I know for a fact that it's the size of the kayak and my ability physically to be able to reach to the other side, get on top of it, and use my weight to roll it back over is completely doable. The way that these kayaks are built, they will not add any, they'll not take on any water or fill up with water in any single way to make that thing sink. So
you know what you need is a Stay Fishy episode where you purposely
roll it, you flip it over.
Because you see the guys with the rod holders and the stuff like that, and they have like the little floaties on them, and they have like everything's tethered for in case the it does end up happening. But
and they got the big foam on the rod, even
maybe not that extreme, but
I need a pool noodle,
extra pool noodle.
But flipping them over, I would say, is probably I think it's easier than it looks. Or it's easier than most people would imagine, as long as you're physically fit enough to do it. I think that's a big part of kayak fishing as well. It's not something, I'm not going to put an age on this, but it's not something for somebody who is not in the amount of physical shape or at the age with the physical ability to be able to handle a situation like this. I mean, that's important when you start looking into kayak fishing. Maybe save that $4 to $5 grand you're going to spend on a kayak and get a 16-foot boat that is going to
physically able-bodied people should be on kayak.
That's a very important part of it. Not to exclude anybody in the world from it, but yes, rolling it over isn't the biggest thing. You can always roll these kayaks back over. They're made to do this. And then you climb back on, and hopefully you still have your remote tethered to your chest, and you drive back home. And your battery strapped in. That's an important one. Okay.
While we're busy selling kayaks, can we talk about etiquette when surrounded by real boats? Okay, so first off, the comment of real boats is kind of jaded, right? Because those kayakers are stealthy and they catch salmon.
I mean, can we
been around a handful?
While we're so busy, we can talk about etiquette.
Most guys will wear flags, but one thing I do notice, like sometimes with the kayakers out there, is they'll kind of like pull in front of you and do some like little more. Well, because they are maneuverable, but at the same time, it kind of reminds me of like the bikers in Portland. Like, they're more maneuverable, but if I hit you, you're gonna be the one with the problem.
Bikers going up the river road. One of my biggest pet peeves in the world. We won't get on that tangent. But along those facts, I think the way it's written in the rules of the road out there in the water is anybody under less power has the right of way, unless it pertains to a big ship in a shipping lane. Unfortunately, it's just like the bike situation. The etiquette does kind of fall on the kayaker. The kayaker has to be, mentally aware of what he's doing and where he's fishing, as well as the other boats need to be looking out for them. But in my opinion, if you are getting into kayak fishing, it's your job to look out for everybody else. And it's not the way it's written in the laws, but when it comes right down to it, that is the most important thing, is to make sure that you're being aware of where you are at. Fishing at the time when people aren't making runs to make passes down the river, just being very smart and strategic at how you do it. But I think, again, the etiquette to kind of answer this, guys, and I know he probably likes this answer, is the etiquette really does lie on the kayakers, you guys. And as a kayak fisherman, you have to realize that you are putting yourself in a vulnerable position. Definitely. It's not everybody else's job to take care of you out there when you're on your kayak. It's your job to make sure that you're putting yourself in a good situation and in a good spot safety-wise to be able to be out there and fishing and even be effective.
Yeah.
So again, if you are getting into kayak fishing, watch out for the other boats. Be sure to talk to the guys, whatever retailer you're buying. Hopefully it's at Next Adventure, but they will get you set up with everything as far as legality wise to be out there and fishing with around big boats. You're supposed to have a dune flag off the back. You're supposed to have registrations. If you have a motor on the boat, all that entails with the safety. A lot of those rules and stipulations are in place for a safe environment for everybody. But rules of the road, I think kayakers need to pay more attention than the big boats. But also big boats, don't run them over. How may lithium battery do? What's that? How many? Okay.
So how big of a battery do you recommend?
So we run the 12 volt. Dakota Lithium's in ours. We were lucky enough to pair up with Dakota Lithium with ours, and I run just one single 12 volt lithium battery.
Do you know how many amp hours your model?
I think it's 12120, if I'm not mistaken.
So 120 amp hour.
Yep. And I'm very, very impressed all the time by those batteries. You know, I just put a 24 volt system on my jet boat with my new bow mount, and I've been fishing for 3 days, and it's still at half battery.
Dang.
You know, and it's the same thing with these kayak batteries. You know, we didn't have these Dakota Lithiums, I believe, when we did that kayak trip down from Bonneville, but I would have made the biggest issue of that video, you know, non-existent if we would have had these lithiums. But lithiums are expensive, guys. That's going to be another big part of buying of that purchase when you're getting the kayak, is making sure you get the right batteries, because there's nothing more pain in the butt than when you're out there and you got your fancy kayak with a brand new motor, and for some reason your battery ain't charged.
And
or
your
you're on a
motor don't
3 day,
work.
and you're on a 3 day trip and you're back to paddling like everyone else.
That,
So, but I recommend the 12 volt. I don't think any of these systems are rigged up for a 24 volt system, but it's 120 amp hour. I believe it's a 12120, if I'm not mistaken, or is it 1260? What? It's 1260. It's 1260. It's the 12 volt 60 amp hours. I've just been looking at this 24 volt a bunch, so I'm all confused. Anyways, yep, that's the battery I would go with. I would try to get yourself into a lithium battery. I think that is very important. Plus, it takes a lot of the weight down.
Yeah.
A lot of the weight down. So, all right, on to the next.
Do you find it awkward to cast or fish off of my bait?
Do you find it awkward or hard to cast or fish off a kayak? I hate fishing off my kayak. Well, it just depends. A normal paddle kayak where you got the paddle laying across your something you buy at Walmart on Craigslist or whatever. Those aren't made for fishing. I mean, let's get real. They're not. They're especially designed kayaks for fishing, whether it's going to be one with an automatic autopilot trolling motor on it, or whether it's going to be one that is self-propelled or human-powered. But they're built like that to make the convenience. I think a lot of it really comes down to picking that right kayak. You know, if you're going to be
platform.
and picking the right days for it. You know, if I'm going out to the lake, I see a pretty stiff breeze going across it, even if it's a small body of water, and it's blowing heavily into one side of the lake, I'm going to realize quickly that I'm set up wrong. I might want to bank fish today.
Yeah.
You know,
maybe not the most optimal.
Yeah.
conditions.
It's kind of like a good friend of mine said with fly fishing. He's you know, it's fun to do. It's one of my favorite things, but I don't fight it. I love kayak fishing, but if I show up and I'm going to go down and go drop a crab pot down in Astoria on an incoming tide with the wind whipping downriver and there's 3-foot whitecaps, I'm not kayak fishing today. You know, and so that kind of goes into the hand of just fishing off them in general. You know, your typical sit on top paddle kayaks are not built for fishing. They work just fine, especially if you can take a little sandbag anchor out there and set yourself up to where you can fish well in a lake or something. But the fishing kayaks are obviously designed for fishing, and they're much, much easier to use. So,
Here's a $20 super chat.
all right, thank you, Micah. Great stream. Kayak fishing is awesome, but you got to be very careful about safety. Someone died kayak crabbing out of Hood Canal recently. PFD was on the kayak. Exactly. Thank you so much for reiterating that again, Micah. That it is very important to be safe. You know, the kayak thing is a great way to have a little bit of solitude. You know, like you can get away from people. You can be stealthy in crowds. But when you go out there and you put yourself in a situation like that, where you're going out in a tidal influence area, an area that usually isn't the worst seas ever in Hood Canal, but you go out by yourself and you don't let people know where you're going. And then 2, you take the biggest key to being safe out of your hand. and not wear your life jacket while you're doing it. You know,
Yeah.
even in a tiny little pond. And I do it mostly because I have the autopilot. I have my controller in my life vest, so I wear it all as one unit. I got my little foam for my flies and stuff, and for my lures. And it's just best to be safe. It's just best to be safe in those kayaks because you are a tiny fish in a big pond.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the best way to say
Water
it.
doesn't mess around either.
No, you cannot. You can't fight it. It'll always be stronger than you. So make sure to always keep that realm of safety as you start getting into this sport, for sure. What length of kayak would you use for big rivers such as the Columbia? I would definitely go bigger the better.
Right.
You know, like Sean and I have been running the 2 different models of kayaks that we have. Mine is 12.5 feet. Mine's 13.5 feet. His is 12.2. And I've been on Sean's kayak, and we both went down the same distance of river. And I must say the bigger kayak was much more comfortable.
Right.
It takes on a lot more gear. You can have more stuff on it, a heavier cooler, more fishing gear. Exactly. You can put more rod holders. You can have your depth finder and everything with a little more space up front.
Yeah.
So bigger the kayak, the better. The bigger you can afford. If you're going into a situation like the Columbia, again, the better. So mine was 13.5 feet. I've always felt extremely comfortable in my kayak. So bigger the better when you're doing this, at least over 12 feet. Nothing under 12.5 feet, I would say. So the solid life jacket makes a huge difference. Once you find one you like, it's a game changer. It is so true. And that's another thing. That's one thing we didn't really even talk about as much about the Paddle Sports Center with Next Adventure is you can go in there and you can get your Type 5 PFDs. You can get your inflatable quick release blow up ones that we use on the fishing boats.
You can get the recharge kits.
Yes, you can get the recharge kits. And most of all, you can get a very, very high quality PFD.
Yeah.
One that you can't find anywhere but online. But here you'll actually be able to put it on, see how it fits. And kind of just up your game on that realm of safety. I think that's huge.
Yeah.
That would be one of the things that I go in there and get next is a brand new whitewater life jacket. And the higher the classification, the better.
Yep.
You know, type 3 is what's legal, what's mandatory to have on any sort of vessel or boat in the big rivers. But anything with over a Class 3 rapid, it's mandatory to have a Type 5 or a Class 5 life jacket. So by that higher class, it means you can take it a lot of different places. I love when clients show up on a rafting trip and they have their own life jacket.
You know they're in for it.
Unless it's like a whitewater experience. But
yeah.
if they have something they're comfortable in, they can fish out of. They have their pockets. They got all their little accessories. It's perfect. Better than the life jacket.
They're going to be comfy all day.
Yes. Higher quality life jacket, the better.
What about other safety equipment? Because I see a lot of kayakers with the certain knife too, right? Like a safety knife.
Yeah,
on their vest.
that's the deck knife. They'll have a safety knife on their kayak or on their PFD. A lot of that is for more moving water situations. In a situation like out in the Columbia or something, it might be nice to cut somebody's 65-pound test if you're mad at them. Just kidding.
If you roll and you get in your line, Yep.
Those little knives, and those will be recommended to you with just about, even if you buy a PFD online, as soon as you go to checkout, that's going to pop up and give you the option to buy that. You know, there's a lot of different brands. Austral, I know Benchmade just came out with a cool new one, stuff like that. So those are important. Those are the most important in whitewater situations. It's when they're almost mandatory as a guide for if you do get tangled up in a bow line, if something crazy happens, if you do get hung up around a rock and you need to start cutting lines and doing different stuff to be safe.
It's ready.
But in a situation in a heavily fished area, I mean, you and I have seen it our whole lives, a big K-15 sitting there in the tail out, snagged on the bottom, just doing its thing. And what if you fall out of your boat, go swimming through, and that thing's hooked into your leg with 60-pound braid, holding it to the bottom? You're going to want something to cut the line.
Yeah.
And your teeth ain't going to do it. Yep. So that's a great thing to have, too. A deck knife on hand is always really good.
Dude, that would be terrible.
Right.
Oh,
I've heard it happen. Buddies back in the day, like body surfing, they're like swimming the tube in the Kalama and stuff. They just get a big old size, 3/0 in the side of the leg.
Ouch.
Nice.
There's tetanus for you.
What about kayak storage, especially small apartments or things like that? Storage in general, though.
I mean, you can keep it on top of your car and always look really cool. I'm just kidding. But I have mine stored outside. The old towns, the plastic is super high quality. I believe it's a HDPE. It's a high density plastic.
Yes.
So it's made very hard. It's not a fiberglass kayak, so the sun will maybe bleach the color a tiny bit, but you're not going to get that flaky, stingy, like microfibers type of stuff that's going to get on your skin.
It's not going to deteriorate.
No, and like with my kayaks, the bow mounts come off. the batteries come out. I take the depth finder and the rod holders off, and it's a bare bones kayak sitting out there. A lot of times if I'm in a sketchy area, I'll chain them down and do a padlock right to the boat trailer, and it kind of just secures the security of them. But these things do store fine outside. If you got to go get a $30 a month storage unit to stick this thing, that's fine. But if you are in an apartment and you have a little garage out front, that'll work good. But if you do have an outside storage, they do last quite a while.
Guys in apartments with them just kind of propped up on their back.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah.
Walked them upstairs. And
Yeah.
I've seen people on their balconies literally with the screw hooks, and they'll just on the handles. It'll be right there on the ceiling.
I mean, we can get crafty with it, guys.
Get real crafty.
You said sonar.
Definitely seen a lot of that.
Is it possible?
Oh yeah. The guys
dude.
instruments all have them. They're dialed.
Is it like a little mini unit, or is it still big?
Nope, they have a little drop pull on the side. They can just point it in direction and it goes right to their screen. Yeah, that's
cool.
Well, thethe's a
if so facto, it comes down to you need a big enough kayak to have all that stuff on there.
Yeah.
So. Because even the Humminbird and stuff that we put on our kayaks takes up a lot of room. You have your little office right there, and a lot of times I like to stand up in mine, especially if I'm fighting a fish. So it just kind of takes away from the space. But yes, you can do everything that Humminbird 𝗛𝗘𝗧𝗛𝗪 offers, and put it right on the kayak. And once again, guys at Next Adventure can put it all on there for you.
Yeah. Why not? It'd be kind of cool.
Yeah.
What about inflatable kayaks?
Inflatable kayaks?
Oh,
divorce machines, huh? That's what we call the tandem inflatable kayaks. Yeah, they're divorce machines. The husband tells the wife she's going to be fine, and the next thing you know, they're swimming a class 4 rapid.
Oh, that is
That's what we call them over on the old shoots. Yeah. Inflatable kayaks are awesome, especially if you're looking to fish some smaller tribs or even big rivers and get from point A to point B.
Mm-hmm.
Thing is, you're not going to fish off of them. Wonderful part of them is they roll up about as big as this sleeping bag half the time, especially if you get those 9-10 footers. But inflatable kayaks are a huge game changer when kind of exploring new rivers. I'd say it's a step up from getting anything in the plastic realm. You're going to want to have a little more experience because you're going to be putting yourself in situations where you're floating and moving water.
Yeah,
you're going to be going down rivers.
Gear.
Yeah, you're going to want to have a good PFD. You're going to want to take a fishing rod that you don't like that much.
Yeah.
And keep your gear that you're packing with and your addicted backpack pretty light, and maybe make sure that thing's sealed up so you got a little extra flotation.
Yeah.
And there you go. So what's this one here? Oh, no. Well, not after we talk about it.
I have recently.
No, I try to put out the good vibes, and I think it seems to come. What comes around goes around. I don't steal from people, so I don't get stole from often. As I'm about to go on a 4-day road trip.
Ooh, dude, yeah.
You can lock those, right?
Yep, you can lock up everything, and again with the 𝗛𝗘𝗧𝗛𝗪. And everything on some like the Old Town models and all the models of the kayaks that have motors, you can take them off and throw them in the truck. So give them a reason to just break out your windows.
Yeah. Insurance claim, right?
Yep.
You got any kayaks for down in Chile? Getting a world record salmon on one?
No time for that. Those things go too slow. No, we gotta be on. Yeah, we gotta be able to move around. But yes, it will be an option. There's some of the trout fishing stuff down there would be unbelievable with a kayak
I bet that would be really
some
cool
of the
down
lakes
there.
and stuff. You could just be literally spot and stocking 10-pound browns,
untouched,
unreal.
Yeah.
What about moving them? Like instead of on top of a car, I know I've seen you have a trailer, right?
Yep, I have the what's it called? What's that model of trailer? It's the Yakima. It's the Yakima. Clint will pull it up. You want to pull it up, or just put Yakima raft or kayak trailer. I've used my raft trailer for years. But with these fishing kayaks in particular, guys, you're not going to really want a system that you have to put them on top of the car.
Yeah, no.
Some of the fishing kayaks are a little bit lighter, but most of them take 2 people to move.
Mm-hmm.
Or some strategy in when you're unloading them and loading them.
Yeah,
you got to take all the components off. You got to get the batteries out.
Yeah.
You got to get all your gear off to be able to load these things. But I like a trailer. Even if it's a little $200 cargo trailer or little wood trailer you see sitting on some corner with a for sale sign.
Some sort of trailer that
Yep, Easy Rider.
Easy Rider trailers. Yeah, some sort of trailer where you don't have to, where it's a trailer. You don't have to put it on your car, or you don't have to put it on your truck or your truck bed.
Yeah. Yeah, making it easier on yourself is the best. You know, save that little bit of money in your budget to get something that you can load your kayak up on a trailer. Make sure it's not going to bottom out every time you go over a curb out of the gas station.
Yep.
But something like the Easy Rider trailer, I like the Easy Rider because it weighs probably 150 pounds.
That's
so it's
nice.
not like it's like having nothing behind the truck.
Literally.
Along with these heavy kayaks, you know, and they're pretty aerodynamic, so it's pretty good.
Nice.
Do you have to register those?
Yes, actually. If you do not have, I think all of Oregon, you do over a certain foot of kayak has to be registered. In Washington State, if you don't have a propulsion system, a battery or gas propulsion system, if you have a propulsion system on it, it has to be registered, and you have to have your boat numbers and your registration for the year. I think in Oregon now they've changed it to where if it's anything over 12 feet, you have to have that registration on their motor or not. So look into that. We're not the law up here. Half the time I don't even know the laws. Yeah. So, but yes, good thing to do is just go in.
Something to look into.
Yes, and if you're buying it from a retailer, just ask them. They should know, and they will know if you go to our proud sponsor.
Most of the time, they have a lot of the knowledge.
Not in Oregon.
Not in Oregon, Washington, you do.
Yeah, you have to. Yeah.
Again, that's just a state.
Yep. State by state, figure out whether they need to register the trailer.
There was a good question in here about paddle length. Is that?
You know, that really will come down to almost every kayak that you buy, other than one off the shelf, again, at like Walmart, is going to come with a paddle. Yeah. You know, like the Hobies will come with them. The new canoes will come with them. The Old Towns they'll have an outfitted paddle that comes with the boat, even if it does come with a motor most of the time. But I run about a 9 to a 9.5 foot paddle. If I'm whitewater kayaking, I run like a 7.5 foot paddle. But the longer the paddle, the less agility that you have. Yeah. Really, you know, that's why I use such a short one and such a compact one with big blades if you're whitewater kayaking, because you need to be able to make quick moves. You need to be able to use it to roll back over.
Yeah,
but a little bit longer is the better for if you're in a normal kayak. Other than it's a little cumbersome moving around, it's going to allow you to get a deeper dig each time. It's going to allow you to have a little bit more control, and it's going to give you a good brace when you do get into some waves or a big boat goes by or something like that.
A lot of power with those.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But high quality is important. Don't go getting one from Goodwill and thinking you're going to paddle across the Columbia. That's not going to happen. You're going to be using a one paddle pretty quick.
Yeah.
Uh-oh, the AC turned off.
Oh
No, I can turn it back on. So the next question, and it says maybe a stupid question, but have you ever had any trouble with sunscreen causing the fish to not bite because of the scent?
I don't wear a lot of sunscreen.
Can't you tell?
I was gonna say, they make these nice UPF shirts now,
exactly.
so you don't have to.
Yep. Yeah, you can get them online at Addicted.Fishing.
I'm gonna touch on this one because like sunscreen is chemically engineered to stick to stuff. Your skin, especially the aerosols. And so like when you're wearing polarized glasses and all those black carbon fiber rods and everything and what you have in the boat, like if someone sprays it with the glass on, you can see that it's on the rod, even if it's just like lightly on their hands. Like, so possibly, I mean, I still wear sunscreen, and at least the best I can. My clients do, but wash your damn hands when you're done putting it on, and keep your grubby hands off the rods.
Yep, exactly. Wash your hands. Make sure. I mean, there's nothing bigger pet peeve of mine than having sunscreen. That's why I like the spray sunscreen, because you don't have to touch it.
Yeah.
But do it outside the boat. Do it before you get in. Do it at lunch when you stop to take a pee or whatever. Re-sunscreen up. And if you do have the stuff that you wipe on, if you have some gloves, wash your hands. Get the gloves on. Yes, it's not going to help. I'll say that much.
Yeah,
it's not going to help you. So just try to get those hands washed. Keep some Dawn or some Lemon Joy on the boat, as most guys do.
Yeah.
And make sure to clean off your hand. I mean, I think it's kind of imperative too to do it throughout the day. You know,
I'd say at least once.
And
twice.
even ProCure actually makes a hand scrub, a hand sanitizer type of scrub that does pull a lot of those chemicals off. It pulls a lot of those oils off. It's not the best on the hands because you're pulling a lot of oils out of your skin, but it will kind of eliminate that fear factor of contaminating your lure or your bait. Real men sport sunburns. Real men sport cancer. I know, I was reading a different one.
Question, Jordan. I stepped out for just a moment. I had to take a phone call. Someone wants to buy a kayak. Where do they start
online research, next adventure, and give these guys an idea. Like, are they wanting to look at something? If they're going to be like, there's a big tournament bass scene now. There's river kayaks. Like, just, I mean, where does someone start? 101. Like, I'm going to buy a kayak and I want to go fishing.
I feel like you're gonna, by doing online research and starting to get on YouTube, you're gonna find a lot of subliminal rabbit holes. You know what I mean? If that makes any sense, you're gonna find a lot of people trying to push their product, not necessarily talking about all the products out there.
Right.
I don't think there might be a kayak review video on the internet, but still, those guys, there's probably somebody in the Great Lakes that fishes, 10-acre ponds behind their house in their kayak. It's not going to be somebody in the Northwest. So the best thing to do is go to hands-on retailers. If you are within an hour or two of a place like Next Adventure, I'm going to highly admit that, and it's not because of a sponsorship, it's not because of anything. It's because you're going to get an option to touch everything.
Yeah.
You're going to get to, the person there is going to be able to size you up. They're going to be able to look at your physical ability. They're going to be able to talk to you about what your idea is as of using the kayak, and they're going to put you in the right boat.
It's like going to a car dealership.
And that opportunity to be able to go down, I know there's one other retailer of kayaks, but they do like seagoing kayaks and like all paddle sports. It's just a paddle sports place, and that's Alder Creek. But they're not going to be able to sell you a kayak like these guys will, and they're not going to have fishermen in there talking to you about it. So even if you just go as simply as calling Next Adventure, telling them who you are, what you want to do, where you're at, and getting that ball rolling, if you can find that one-stop shop online retailer, you're going to get a lot more information from somebody who knows what they're talking about, rather than going into a sporting goods store and saying, hey, I want to kayak fish, and they're going to go, well, there's a few outside.
There's a pretty orange one over
Yeah,
here.
exactly.
I mean, you're gonna have
on
real
sale
specific
today.
stuff for Puget Sound. You're gonna have real specific stuff for small rivers with current. Real specific stuff for like kokanee fishing, where you maybe want to put a downrigger on it. Like, you're gonna want to explore those options. So the person who's looking at the kayak, I mean, yeah, they probably have real versatile ones that can kind of do everything like the Old Towns and whatnot, but there's probably some that are like real specific to the ocean, stuff like that too. So this guy brought up a good point about the Sportsman Show. Was a great area to check them out too.
That is also very true. It cuts out having to drive down to Warren or Pacific or Scappoose Marina to get to see a showroom like these guys have.
Yeah.
Because you're going to be walking through the largest showroom in the country for paddle sports, basically. And you're going to be able to see inflatables. You're going to get to be able to see all the options for powered kayaks, all the options for self-propulsion kayaks, all the way down the line for just something you want to get your kid in for the first time.
Yeah, just a lot of options.
Don't they do at the Scappoose Bay let you demo or is that just certain times of the year will they hold events and you can actually go?
No, you can go there anytime. You can just there's people that work down there at their warehouse down there, and you'll be able to schedule. If you are serious, it's a big purchase. I mean, this.
Yeah.
Like, you and I have bought power boats for cheaper than some of these kayaks cost in our time. And, to be able to go down, schedule a week off, and kind of do some more research on the kayak that you're looking at, and then go sit in it. And again, sit in it, but have somebody sitting next to you in an adjacent kayak that's going to tell you what to do and how to do it.
And how it should maybe feel.
It's an initial kind of guided experience without having to pay for a guided kayak trip, because who wants to do that?
Yeah.
Just kidding. What kayak?
Go through the exact brand and exact model.
I use
and
the
exact
Old Town
everything.
136 Autopilot is the one that you guys see in all the videos. Very, very. I mean, above all with that kayak, other than how well it fishes, it's very durable. Again, I was just telling these guys earlier. I bet on the trailer that thing has 10,000 miles at least, bouncing down the road, down gravel roads. You guys have seen the trips we've gone on. We've done multiple 7-day trips on these things, and I always feel safe, even with 6 days worth of camping gear on the back and little riding on top of it for that Columbia trip. I always felt comfortable and safe. I think that's the biggest thing when it comes to buying a kayak, is getting something that you feel comfortable in, because from it being a whitewater kayak where you want to go off waterfalls to a paddle kayak, you want to paddle across the lake, to a fishing kayak,
Gotta be comfy.
if you don't sit in it and go, you're gonna feel it. It's like putting on a glove. It's like putting on the right size t-shirt. You're just gonna go, oh, that's it. This one, I'm comfortable in this boat. Now I can go fishing.
It's like test driving cars until you find the right one.
Exactly.
Does color matter? Do the fish see it?
And then do that shit.
Does color matter? No.
Color spooky.
You have a
Bright red raft going down tiny little
right.
steelhead rivers, and you still catch them.
Yeah, exactly. Color doesn't matter. Whatever tickles your fancy. I would say the lighter color is better if you want to be out there in the summer and not scorch your legs and stuff all day long every time you get out of the boat. I would say Sean's kayak, it's much hotter than mine. His is that dark blue and black one, and mine's the red and kind of I'm colorblind as heck, so I can't really tell you. But mine's a different color, and it's a lighter color, and it doesn't get as hot. So
Here's the one for you, and talk about like people don't realize that like there's spot lock.
Yep. What if you find a school of fish on your sonar and you want to drop anchor? What side would you anchor on, or what pound anchor would you use? So there are little anchors that, and I'm guessing this pertains to kayak fishing. There are little anchors that you can buy for the bow setups of these kayaks. If you're sitting anywhere that's not a small river and you don't have big boats going by you, this is a place that you could possibly use an anchor. I'm not saying you guys heard it from me, go out and get yourself hurt. But if you are in any big river situation, if you're in the Columbia, if you're in the Willamette, from the mouth of Astoria all the way up to the top dam, if you got big boats going by you, do not drop anchor in a kayak.
No.
That's a good way to start swimming. It's a good way to lose all your expensive gear, is by sitting in one place and being connected to the bottom. It's very, very, very dangerous in a small boat. Even if you're in a 12-foot smoker craft, it's still a very dangerous situation.
Yep.
But the beauty of having these autopilot kayaks with the Minn Kota or the foot propulsion kayaks is you can keep yourself centered.
Yeah.
You know, and especially for the style of fishing that you're probably doing, when you find a school of fish on your sonar, you're either going to be traveling, going past them in a troll, or you're going to be sitting above them hover fishing, and you can just literally put your rod in your rod holder and just control the boat and keep yourself there. So I'm not going to be the biggest fan or express a lot of detail on anchoring a kayak in a river, because to me it's very dangerous.
Haven't heard of it much.
No. Exactly. But with the Minn Kotas and stuff, you have that ability to spot lock. You have that true north ability. You can actually record and save to your memory certain trolls that you have. I mean, it's pretty cool, the technology that comes with these little motors. It's the same motor you'd put on your big boat, but the shaft's just as long.
Yeah.
So I mean, really, that's all it is. It's the same abilities, and I think most of the price point and the buying point of like a spot lock style of trolling motor on a kayak is just that fact, having the technology.
Yep.
Like, you're paying for that thing on the front more than you're paying for that plastic you're sitting on.
Quite literally.
I'm not saying I recommend it, but like years ago when wobbler fishing was, well, I mean, it's coming back, right? But I mean, I've seen a dude that go out by a certain island, and he'd go out and literally drop a metal anchor and wobbler fish from his kayak. I would not.
Yeah.
Wild.
When especially if you're in parts of the Columbia, like where you're at, the lower end, where it is a active shipping lane. You know what I mean? And some of those big barges don't put off the biggest wakes, but when one of those tugs go by, or one of those big yachts go by, you'll see 18-foot boats almost get capsized if they're being dumb. You know, and so I'm not going to recommend the anchor thing. Figure out a way to hover above those fish or anchor with some sort of technology like a spot lock, and avoid throwing anything on the bottom of the river, because it's going to get dangerous. So
be available to move.
Sometimes kayaks are hard to see and boaters are not paying attention.
Right.
So like you need to be ready as if you're a kayaker to get the hell out of the
Be
way.
available to move.
Yeah. We got any more saved up there?
Not really.
Okay.
Man, kayak fishing.
Talk about batteries and light.
Yeah, it's batteries and types of kayaks, freshwater versus saltwater. Like I feel like.
Yeah, tell us about this, Jordan, because I can't.
What is the best kayak for both freshwater and saltwater? You know, guys, there's only so many options. I mean, I'm going to be quite real when it comes down to using one for a saltwater situation. Or once again, I'm going to say, if you're going to do anything saltwater other than the most glassy days imaginable, you need a big kayak. You know, I would not go out there anything less than 13 feet with that, also letting somebody know where you're going.
Yeah.
Maybe having one of the in reaches on you. Because heck, a couple of years ago, we almost flipped a 28-foot boat at the mouth of the Columbia, and no one was around. No one was going to come help. You know what I mean? Because people weren't around. Like, they weren't going to see it happen. So if you're going to put yourself in even a lesser of a watercraft, something that's 1/3 the size, and you're going to expect yourself to be safe, you got to be really careful with those situations. So bigger the kayak, the better, and something with multiple forms of propulsion.
Yeah.
You don't want to get stuck out there, not paying attention to the tide, and have it. I've almost got stuck just in the little port in 𝗛𝗚𝗥𝗗 before. I went around the corner just to try to drop a crab pot, and the tide started turning, and I had it on 10, and I was having to zigzag back and forth to get past the Coast Guard station because I was getting sucked out of the jetty like that. You know, and it took 10 minutes. It was incoming tide. That was the slack tide at the time I went out there. So, you know, stuff like that. You know, being very, very careful.
Yep.
So.
Over shoreside sturgeon from a kayak? Have you done that yet?
No, but I got to.
Yeah, you need to
That's
do
what the
it.
goal was the other day, and it didn't work out. So, but that will be coming soon. Yes, I have a couple ideas for that. It'd
That would
very
be
fun.
so cool.
Sleigh rides, yeah,
Right.
yeah. And that's what I really like. I like those kayaks with the foot propulsion like that, so you can steer, so you can turn your Minn Kota off, and just follow the fish. Let them take you for a sleigh ride. Exactly. Call him Rudolph. Oh, dash man.
That would be a cool.
You ever done 2 rods at a time off? You use your 2 rods
Yep, most definitely, especially for trout fishing. I feel like it's extremely important. It's a big part of being successful and being detail oriented when you're out there doing that. So 2 rods off of them work very, very well. Once again, it's going to be something that more comes down to being set up correctly with your accessories on your kayak. Having the right height of rod holders, having the right length of rod. It's not something I think we're going to dive as much into as far as the gear, fishing gear wise, here throughout the end of this live feed. But I like to run shorter rods off my kayak. When I'm trout fishing, obviously you're just using trout rods. But when I'm salmon fishing, I have honestly started using my 8'2" plug rods.
Yep.
And for running 360s and stuff, because
why would you want that huge 10.5
we've
foot,
all
12 foot rod
most
out
of
there
everybody
with
who's been out there
Yeah,
has
sorry.
watched a
about 13s?
kayak fisherman try to land a fish by himself with a 10.5 foot rod, and it is fun to watch. It's fun to watch. There's usually some cuss words, a net thrown,
Yep, get the popcorn.
or a broken rod tip. One of the two.
I know you said you don't want to get into gear, but what about net? Like, that's the one thing I see on a kayak, it's probably not the user friendliest.
Yeah, how do you store that too?
That's a pain in the butt.
So what's the
Most kayaks are going to have a spot for your net. The thing about it too is you hook a fish, it starts running in circles around you. You get one guide of your rod stuck in the net, and we all know what happens. It turns into a screaming match pretty quick. But luckily, you're the only one on the boat. But I would say something with a shorter pole. You're not going to want a big Beckman that we would use in the boat. I'll say it this way: I go with the smallest net possible. I mean, that's kind of hard to suggest to people because, I've been netting fish for my whole life. So it's a little bit different. I'm a little more calm when I do it. It's not my first salmon when I'm catching one,
It's less intimidating.
Exactly. And it's not that high intensity moment for me because I've had the opportunity to do it before.
You probably don't want one of the, like you said, if it's going around your kayak, you don't want, or do you have something that's foldable?
Well, we have, I just run the ones, the normal backbends, and I keep it put out. But as far as the hoop size, find one with the smallest hoop that you're comfortable using to net a salmon. I've used my trout net on every episode. You guys have seen me land a fish, or I've grabbed the leader and landed them by hand. But go with the smallest net as you feel comfortable putting on there as far as hoop size, because it's just going to stay out of your way. And you're going to get the ones you get, and the ones you don't get.
Anything you're
not
going
gonna
to
get those ones.
consolidate,
Yeah.
I feel like is huge on kayaks.
One thing we can talk about gear-wise, packing gear on a kayak, my go-to obviously is our addicted dry bags. It's a great option. A lot of times also I'll use just one of the little clip lid boxes because most of the kayaks come with some sort of bungee system that locks that stuff in. But they also down at a place like Next Adventure, they're going to have all the accessory boxes with rod holders, with net holders, with places for magnets and gear and stuff like that you can set either in front of you or behind you while you're out there fishing, and it makes life a lot easier.
Yeah,
it makes
and the
life
proper
a lot nicer.
And the proper cam straps to lock all that stuff down in case you do flip.
Yep, that's the biggest part of it. I learned. I can't say I ever learned the hard way, but I learned growing up doing multi-day trips on rafting excursions down big rivers with giant rapids. So
stuff can get lost real easy.
Secure your load, and it costs about $10 for a good cam strap. Never ratchet straps, never bungees, but a couple good cam straps that are made for rafting. Again, they'll have it at Next Adventure.
Yep.
That you can throw on there to really secure your stuff down is key. Something that's easy too. One little push button. The tension comes off, and you got it. You're ready to go.
Yeah, they're awesome.
Like, get the next giveaway.
Okay, yep.
Have them just post
Last couple of comments, you guys. I got a 6-hour drive still. These guys got to go fishing tomorrow. Let's get the last couple of comments in there. Let's just say this much. Let's have this first giveaway for this dry bag. Super bad A dry bag. Have you ever caught a fish off a kayak before? Let's say yes or no, and let's get them going.
I have never.
It's fun.
Can't say that
it's
I
pretty
ever
cool.
have.
Honestly, in some situations, some of the fisheries close to us here, it's stealthy as heck.
Right.
It's pretty cool when you don't have any noise. You don't have that big And honestly,
Right.
I've actually watched salmon in small rivers when like whitewater kayaks go down. I've actually seen steelhead and salmon following the kayaks, like swimming behind them, watching them because they have that.
Like, what is that shadow?
1,000% something to be said that when you have a bunch of big sleds trolling over salmon, especially in shallower water fisheries, less than 20 feet. I know a lot of you guys out there know what I'm talking about. I watch those kayakers dip in there and freaking wreck them.
Yeah.
And I know it's because those fish are flaring around from our boats and stuff like that, and then that kayak gets a little space, goes right over the top of them, and gets them to go.
Yep.
That is 1,000% a thing.
Yeah,
like 100%.
And they gotta feel all that pressure of that huge boat right on top of them.
and all the props spinning, all the sonar beeping, and you know exactly. There's something to be said about it, and it is a blast, man. You guys, I haven't caught a ton of salmon on the channels from my kayak, but all the ones that I have were awesome. It was a heck
What's your favorite fish you've caught off the yak?
Ooh, the brown trout I caught on last year's Cascade series. We're over in Central Oregon, and I was just trolling a wee wiggler back behind the boat and got the most beautiful brown trout I'd ever seen in my entire life. So, all right, random winner here for this is all the yeses and nos. But that was my favorite for sure.
Rex Smith.
Rex Smith.
You are the lucky winner.
That's
Rexy. I was going to say, that's Rex. That's awesome.
Way to go, randomizer. Rex, I got your text yesterday. Just got down from the lake. And I will be on my way to your house with a bunch of sockeye and a fillet knife here pretty soon. Oh, I gave this surprise away, Rex. I got you a knife. All right, Rex. I'll bring this to you. How about that? And one more giveaway before we get out of here, Clint. We got one more. Oh, I didn't give this one away.
Give those away. Yeah, give those away.
Yep, I got one more Nalgene and a hat here. Let's just run back through some of those. Randomizer one more time. Meals like the General. Here you go, buddy. You get a new Next Adventure flatbill. Super sexy, as you can tell. And a really cool Nalgene. So orders at addicted.fishing. Let us know exactly what you won, and we'll get it sent out.
Cheers.
What's that?
There's still stuff on the website.
Okay, another quick update before we go, you guys. There are still some limited apparel lines on the website. I think did the beads and everything sell out? What are we looking at there?
No. Still
There's still some fishing tackle.
UPFs.
I'm guessing the spinners probably sold out. The knives are gone, but we do have kill bags back in stock. I saw them down there. We have backpacks down there, and we still have some awesome summertime limited merch on the website.
Yep.
We have big kill bags?
Yeah, big kill bags.
What?
Yeah, dude.
Jeez, where have I been?
Yeah.
Okay, well, get your fillet. We do it. So get yourself some fillet away fish mats. Get online. Check out those big kill bags. Tuna season's coming up. Buoy 10's coming up. And until next time, everybody, thank you so much for being here. You all stay fishy.
Cheers.